We are live, and we are very much back.
Yeah, we had a brief pause in here just so we could drink some water or whatever. We are talking about uh
Technology in general, right?
yeah, we were talking about how the world is gonna change when all these technologies that are coming up to life when they get disseminated to the to a public level. I don't know if that's the exact word, but well, we can say that the world is changing and we are seeing this change happen in our daily lives. And that's crazy because that's open to to so many opportunities.
Yeah, there isn't much more to talk about this. This is history right now, people. We are living the moment.
We are living in the moment. And well, okay, you can say that there's still a lot of fucked up things happening in the world, like climate change and how we are kind of messed up as a generation. But well, I can say that it is up to us to create a better world. I don't know, just like for example, so we don't die.
That's
Just
so beautiful, Macedo. That's
just
amazing. I'm going to cry, bro. You're
you're going
such
to
a
cry.
hero.
But that's it, man. The last generation fucked us over. They fucked us hard, and like we have to fight to survive. And then we are like, dude, there's this thing in here, and we are
Yes.
going to die. I'm not going to die just like that. We are going to make this shit happen.
I feel you very much, bro. If you look at history, there was a period where people like spent like there was no tomorrow. And big news, this is tomorrow. Hello, we are fucked.
Yeah, we are already in the tomorrow, and things are not looking pretty. And we have to do something right now.
Yeah, it's a very crazy thing, you know. Like this is the big picture of the right now. We are living in a moment where it's called. I listen to this a lot in my college in like high level school. It's college, right?
Yeah, college.
And we are living not in the present, we are living post-modernism. There was modern, which was future. We are post that, you know. And
Yeah,
in
I can say.
post-modernism, shit's being very fucked up, you know. Things are crazy.
Oh, that that's another thing. I in a few months back or a few years back, I was reading about this. You have you had, I don't know, the Middle Ages, and then the boom of science
Illuminism, the Renaissance.
with the Renaissance period, that was the modern period, and then with the end of the French Revolution, you had the birth of contemporary age.
Contemporary age. We are past contemporary age. It's contemporary age, bro. It's the present.
You think that we are already past contemporary age?
No, I don't. But people do. We study that. I had to make tests about that. You know.
No, that's crazy. I thought that we were going to be at contemporary age at least at 2100. I don't know.
That's per definition. Yes, contemporary means present. However, when people started doing this timeline, that was contemporary. We are very much past that, like 200 years past that.
What? No fucking way, man.
Yeah, it's like the Illuminism and French Revolution and whatever.
Yeah, contemporary age started with the with kings heads rolling down their
Yeah,
bodies.
great beginning.
Uh, yeah, we had the beginning of the current state of governments, like with democracies and whatever. The ending of the French Revolution was the start of our contemporary age. But I can see that we are at a transition period. We have a lots we have lots of political conflicts. We have lots of problems regarding how the world itself is changing with climate change and how our technologies are evolving to prevent these mass shithole, not shithole, this mass shit show. Because if we don't do something, we are pretty much going to die. Like,
Not we, like the whole species.
yeah, the whole species, the entire life on the planet, and that's a bit of a problem, if you could say at least.
The very least.
At the very least, I don't know if that's a problem to you, but to me, that's a kind of a problem. And not only that, the development of the technology itself, but the common sense around people's heads, people's opinions.
The
Everybody
mainstream
is
idea,
starting
right?
to, yeah, that's it. That's becoming a common idea that things are changing, and that's a transition. I don't know if we are past the contemporary age, but I can see that we are reaching the end of the contemporary age, because the French Revolution, the end of the French Revolution was at 7089, I guess. 7089
Not sure, but around that time.
or 1889. I don't know. It was around that time. And well, okay, that was 200 years ago. But I don't know. I think that we are reaching that level of we are reaching the end of the transition. But I can see that happening at least. Do you know what? I guess the transition will be completed at the singularity.
That
That's
is
what I
true.
think.
That is true. Very true.
The singularity will be the end of the transition, and that's going to be crazy, because that's like
Next step in life itself, you know? Next
next step
step.
in line. And
That's
you know
for
what,
sure.
bro? You know what, bro?
What?
That isn't like 20 years from now.
At most 100.
Yeah, but the singularity expected to be at 2045.
Everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people here are going to be alive, so let's keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, man. Man, that's so, I don't know, that's so exciting, and so at the same time it's so terrifying.
Well, it's
Like,
very true, but at the same time, I also have to be sincere here, and I have to say my very deepest, my most profound, I'm so sorry to Macedo, you know? I'm very sorry, Macedo.
why? Because I'm dying because I smoke?
No, I'm going to die by that too. That's because I just realized it's some very big fuck up I just have done.
What did you
No,
ended the
listen,
call?
listen. We are streaming in Twitch, and that's where the VOD comes from. And I'm controlling Twitch, so I control my audio and Macedo's audio, and I can mute myself to like not cough in the microphone, and I was muting myself to like burp and like very loudly. And I just realized that I'm muting like the Twitch VOD, but not the call, the main call in Google Meet. And I was like letting out some really gnarly burps in Macedo's audio. I didn't realize, and I'm so sorry.
Well, I'm going to be honest here. I was hearing your burps, but I was like, hey, no big deal. Whatever. He's burping. I don't give a fuck. If you want to burp, who am I to say anything? Like, let the boy be.
No, because I realized that like some I don't know 40 minutes ago I just let a big one, and then
Yeah, I even asked you. I even asked you, man, what was that?
what the fuck?
And you were like,
I just
man, I'm
coughed.
just burping. And I was like, okay, man, be my guest.
And then I was like, did he listen to this? Because he's
Yeah,
being
I
very.
did. I asked you, what was that, man? I I asked you, man, are you okay?
Because I was like, oh, no one's listening to this. I'm going to go all out.
Yeah, man, you made that like t- twice or thrice, but I was like, man, no big deal, whatever.
I'm so sorry because I was like, okay, no one's listening to this, so fuck it all.
Yeah, everyone was listening, bro. Everyone.
No, that's the worst part. It wasn't everyone. It was just Macedo, man. Why? He didn't have to go through this.
Well, it is everyone because, well, not
Yeah, I
everyone, but
just said it.
yeah, not everyone, but in a few years, there are going to be more people to listen to this. So not only me.
Yeah, and you are going
So
to tell this story to everyone. Like, we are going to every single conversation, every part. Hey, he used to burp in my face every single time.
yeah, man, I'm going to be like, hey, remember on episode 3 when you were like burping all over my face, like, man, shame on you,
Yeah,
shame on
but
you, bro.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I just realized this. Because I'm still learning how to control the VODs, and I should mute myself on the source, not on the audio.
Yeah, well, but that's like I said, that's no big deal because we are still learning how to be commentators, how to be
Content
podcasters.
creators.
Yeah, go easy on us, okay? Go easy on us because we are still learning. We are still getting used to this shit. We are still learning how to create for you guys. We are still learning how to research stuff, how to bring content on here to discuss about, how to take on a conversation so it can be interesting for you guys to listen. So, yeah, like I said, just be chill. Just take it easy, okay? We are
It's
going to
okay.
get better. We
It's
are going to
okay.
get better.
I understand you, bro. It's okay. The small ones are okay. I just don't want to let out the big ones. I don't have to go all out on this. It's for
No,
me.
I
It's not
wasn't
for you
talking.
guys. It's for me. I don't want to be that person.
Well, you can learn on your mistakes from now on, and now when you have to do this, you can just mute. But so everyone who's listening to this in the future or right now, that didn't happen. Okay, that's
Thank you, Macedo-chan. You are amazing, bro.
yeah.
Macedo-kun.
That didn't happen, and we are still learning, and we are going to get better. But like we are saying, we are in the future right now, and from 20 years from now on, shit's going to get crazy.
Very, very crazy. That was the point I was wanting to make originally for this podcast, because I was looking at a lot of video games timeline, the evolution of video games. And if you take a look at the evolution of how games and the whole video games industry works, it's also some very crazy big movements in like what 40 years at most.
And if you think about it, video games have been around since the 70s. No, the 60s. Yeah, the
Well,
60s.
yeah, I guess you can say the 60s because the very first game was like some game made in a supercomputer.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know what the first game was, but I guess it was the ping pong. I don't know if it was the ping pong. but it
Yes,
was
it
one of
was
the very first
Pong.
one.
It was a Pong-like games. They have this kind of way to express the evolution. Sometimes there is a big name, such a big name, so big in the industry that it revolutionized games as a whole. And then people start calling them by their names and the suffix like. So there's Pong like, Doom like, COD like.
Yeah, yeah, I can see it. And yeah, video games have been around since the 60s. I find it kind of funny that even by today's standards, there are some older people that consider it to be a present trend that today's people are like all what's the word? They are all
I'm not
uh
sure, bro. You lost me there.
no it's not a vice. What it's like? What's the
Habit, like a big hard habit.
Yeah, I forgot the word, but you can. I mean it like like a vice. People spend all their times playing video games and having their life built around it, like it was a problem of today's generation. Like if the millennials and Generation Z
Oh, there
are
was like a prejudice. You mean?
Yeah, those older people, they talk like if video games are a problem of today's generation,
And the
but
devil, and the devil. Let's not forget.
yeah, and the devil and something stupid like that. But man, video games have been around since the 60s, the 70s, the 80s.
Games
I
as a
can,
whole, they have been around since the very beginning.
yeah, and well, I can see that the entire industry just became a thing in the 90s with the late 80s, early 90s with Atari and the early Nintendo systems and Sega and whatever all over to PlayStation and Xbox and PC gaming even.
Yes,
But that's not a new thing. That's not a new thing. Not only culturally,
but in
but
technology as a whole, games,
yeah,
even though they started to happen in our homes with Atari, they used to happen way, 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 way before this in computers and arcades. There's a very large history on this.
yeah. The development of this technology of simulating reality itself is not new. And video games are just like that. They are used for entertainment purposes. They are right now they are literally just like that. You have another industry popping up. That's the esports industry, but that's another subject. What I'm talking in here, it's the industry of entertainment. Video games were built on. They are made to entertain, just to be something silly that you do on your time off.
I don't know,
But
bro. I'm not so sure about this worldview. Maybe this is the consumer's view, but the people who make this, the people who actually have the knowledge and the money, that's not how they view the world like that. They view games
yeah,
as a way to make the world.
that's what I'm talking about. In a common Joe worldview, video games are just simple like that. But this is a very simplistic way of looking at it because, like I said before, you were like simulating the fucking reality. And with today's technology, you can create a whole open world in a simulated environment.
Yes, yes, that's what I wanted to get here talking about video games. I wasn't meaning to talk about, oh yeah, first there was Atari and then there was Nintendo and then
No, no, no,
whatever.
no, no.
I
Yeah,
know that no, that's not the point. What I wanted to say is something Macedo told me like 5 years ago, and that stuck to me very deeply. Like it really moved me because he said something like, "Hey man, we as people studying physics and trying to understand the world is very much like a character in a video game watching the scenarios and the gameplay and try to understand the engine of the world that he's living in." And I was like, holy shit, man, that's true.
holy shit! What is this dude? This dude has something to say.
Oh man, pass me that joint. I want to smoke that too.
I want what this that guy is having. But that's true, man. And this is kind of some of a paradoxical statement because we don't know if we are being simulated or whatever that means.
Yes, that's very much an existential crisis, you know. I know this because when I first heard this, we were just kids in college, not in college, because in Brazil it's colégio, but
It's high school.
high school, right? And when I first heard this, I was like, man, maybe the world isn't very much what I thought it was, you know. There's more to this than what I first thought. And that very much broke me in a very big sense, you know. It's very much an existential crisis, not so much as a paradoxical way of viewing the world, because now 5 years later I have studied more and thought more about this, and I can understand that, well, shit, maybe it really is. But first I was like, what if it is? And I was like, what even is what it is? And I was so lost.
My little bro went full of Aristotle.
Yeah, you fucking me up good, bro.
We were very fucked up in that time. I'm not gonna lie. We were very, I don't know what's the word. We
Yeah,
were,
we were
we were
pretty fucked
tripping
up. We were
very.
fucked up, tripping, and we went down into the nihilism hole, the nihilism, niche stuff, and shit was crazy.
Yeah, but as we can see right now, we still don't know how to define what reality itself is. We still don't know how to define because that's a problem. If you want to define reality, our reality, the real reality, if you can call it that. First things first, you have to define what energy is.
I don't
And
know, bro. I went down that habit hole very down. I then went to college, like I studied psychology, and then we spent like a whole year talking about philosophical theories. And there are many, many, many worldviews that don't really require this kind of stuff. They are just ways to understand the world, you know. And that's
no,
the main point. It's been like what, 200,000 years since the very beginning of people as we are, and we still haven't come to a conclusion of very simple stuff like, are we actually real? Is there a God who created us? How do we perceive the world? Do you perceive the same stuff I do? Because in
but
psychology, we are not only talking about like what is the actual physical world, if there is one thing that actually exists, but also what are we as players, as people, as things that perceive this thing, the reality. We are in the reality, or are we? You know, it's kind of complex.
yeah, I remember having the same thought once. Uh, well, in a sense, you can consider that everything is part of the same system. If you could consider the reality as a software, as a made up as a software made up of algorithms, you can say that a person is a class or whatever. But in a software, all classes are part of the same code, of the same
Yes,
algorithm.
but however, that is a question. What was his name again? Um, Do you know the Cartesian system?
René
Descartes,
Descartes?
Descartes, Descartes. Yes, that's what he asked himself. Is it true? Are we part of a system, or are we separate from the system? Like we do not interact with the system at all. That is a possibility. And he came to the conclusion that no, we are two things separate. There may be a hardware and a software, however, we are different stuff. That's the main idea of the soul and the mind and whatever, and the essence. However, I don't know if this is true, you know.
I don't know. I'm leaning towards believing that, well, not believing, but considering that. Well, I guess I guess yeah, I'm leaning towards considering that we are part of the system. The system is entirely one thing as a whole,
Because
and we.
that's the 2 points. The monolith, I don't know. I guess you could say the mono view, solo view, and the dualistic view. There are pretty much
Mhm.
these only two considerations. That's what Aristotle and no, not really Aristotle. Plato said all the way back like 2000, 3000 years ago. Like there are
Mhm.
the ideas and there are the physical. Or then Aristotle said, well, no, it's either there are more stuff or there is only one stuff.
Yeah, that's a thing to consider because we as humans, we think these stuff and we think and I don't know, we perceive these stuff because that's the way we are built. But I was reading early on a paper on AI,
Hmm.
and it was saying that our brain was more like a group of thousands of brains,
Yes, true.
and not the brain is not a single. Mm,
Entity.
yeah, it's not a single entity. It's thousands. It's hundreds of thousands of smaller entities all connected to each other. And these entities are not different. They are all the same thing, copied and pasted all over, all over thousand, 8,000 times.
Yes, much like the organs, they are not like, there isn't like a single entity, there is your heart. They are composed of many cells.
Yeah, just like that, but on another level. And with that, I don't know because just like in a video game, you have the engine that is responsible for running the system itself,
But
the
I know,
sandbox.
I think I know where you are trying to get into because if there is like a player into the simulation, he may happen. However, the question is, why does he feel? Why? Why does he feel? Because why do we feel? We know that NPC characters, they don't really have like a worldview. They don't see the world through eyes. The engine simply does not render that. However, in the real world, I fucking hate this. Real world, we do perceive something. We see stuff. We feel stuff. And even though I can say yes, much like computers, our brains are like individual cells running processes that are very much physical. Still, Why do I see stuff? Why do I feel stuff? Why am I not simply a machine like an insect that simply exists and happens?
You see, that's the thing. Because well, we are talking about video games, right?
Yeah.
With today's technology, we don't really have the means to creating a artificial intelligence to make an NPC do so many things. We have the illusion that the NPC is a person, but it is just a, I don't know, it is,
Illusion. It's simply an illusion because it's trying to trick a human brain into thinking it's seeing another human living another life.
yeah, but if we had a greater and more developed AI, then it could be programmed into making that NPC, if you can call it an NPC, you could make that NPC have more characteristics.
Then it
So,
wouldn't be an NPC. It would be something else. It would be a PC.
yeah, it will be kind of a PC because it was going to be something designed to interact with the environment that it is put on. With more things like today we have an NPC that it's made just to move around in the environment and follow some rules. Like this NPC specifically, it is designed to drive around the city.
Yes, yes,
For example,
please, go on.
take GTA, all right? Take Grand Theft Auto.
Yes.
You have that big city with thousands of people, thousands of NPCs, and every NPC has a function.
All right.
But that function to us is kind of an illusion because it is not a real person. That NPC is just a model, a graphical model programmed to do a simple task. But if he had, and that in that this same NPC is designed to, no, it's programmed to do certain stuff because it is controlled by an AI, and that's the problem. We today have, we are limited by today's technology. We are limited by today's technology, but if we had a greater and more developed AI, then we could make that NPC make more stuff. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by
What do you
interacted
mean
in
by
more
that,
ways?
Macedo? What do you mean by that? I do not understand. Please,
Not
please tell
understand
me.
to me. Then listen to me. If What do I mean by that? I mean that I don't know that NPC is programmed to go to from point A from point B, and that's it. But I can't. If I had a greater and AI, I could make that NPC interact in the same. No, I could make that NPC interact with the environment, like making him feel something. I don't know because that's the problem.
Yes, I know what you're
We
saying,
reach the
bro.
problem. We reach the problem where we have to define something because, as you said, how do we know if we really see something? If you're really listening to something? Because those are all physical. Uh,
Inputs.
yeah, those are all physical inputs that our brains process, and then the outputs come as our emotions or responses, or I don't know. And
Actions,
that's
right?
the, yeah, our actions, and that's the same thing applied to these video game environment.
Yes, this is where I was so fucking broken. This is the existential crisis that makes me want to scream. I really feel like that novel. I have no mouth, but I must scream.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
if you listen to what you just said, if video games are very much like that, they don't really have this stuff, but we do can program because we do can understand them, and they do can feel that. Suppose that we do not know that. If we could make that, then that means that we ourselves are an illusion in a certain sense. What we believe, we feel, and think, and say, and act is simply a calculation, could I say that? It was
yeah,
meant to be some sort of destiny, does exist in the sense that my thoughts and my actions and my voice coming out right now are simply the
the
result.
result of a calculation.
Yeah, it's the end result of my cell moving as a whole, my cells, like my brain acting as a whole. It spits these words, and when something appropriates to the context, asks for this action. I am very
Yeah,
much an NPC too, very much like the NPCs from GTA. I just am too simple to comprehend where are the inputs and what are the end results, the outputs.
yeah. And with that, you could say that, well, if you consider this theory to be on the right way, then you say that free will doesn't really exist.
Yes, I feel very much like that. I feel that's the truth, and people just don't realize. I mean, we do have the opportunity to realize consciousness in itself is not much like I think on the universe, but to us humans, it's some sort of action you can take. You can be conscious of something, but you are not immediately conscious in the verbal sense we say.
Yeah, because that's the thing. In our point of view, in our uh,
Hey, can I tell a
yeah,
story like from when I first realized this?
sure.
Uh, no, I mean, it's not really when I first realized, but when things really came down, when the conclusion really hit.
Yeah,
However, this is somewhat. Okay, I'm going to say this, whatever. That was on a day when I took a hit of acid.
sure. Yeah,
However, it wasn't really much LSD, it was LSA. It was like some seeds. Ate some seeds of. I forgot the name, but whatever. And I was like 2 years into my psychology college. Psychology college. Why do I always do this?
go on.
And I took this by myself. There wasn't like anyone taking with me, but it was like a Saturday and it was day off, like chilling, holy in Brazil.
Yeah,
And in the first 2 years of my college, we were talking. In the very first, we only spoke about philosophy, introduction to the ideas, the world, and whatever history. And in the second year, there was a lot of going deeper into every single. I don't know how do you say this word in English, abordagem, but it's pretty much classes in psychology. Uh, like you have the more mind psychology, the more body psychology, the social
yeah, yeah.
psychology, this kind of stuff.
It was the approach.
Yes, the approach. That's right. And 2 years into that, I was like into the high of the LSA, and I was thinking that yeah, we what is going on, in the world. We I guess we exist in a physical world, and there are other people here that are very much like me, but the world is very big. It's huge. It's something so big that we can't see everything. Even if there were a lot of people. And even if we could see, the world is somewhat random. And this world, this idea of the world, we call that empirical world. That's the name we had in college. This means that the
Mhm.
world is a thing, it exists, it's a physical thing. There are rules that rule it, but it's somewhat random. You have to look to see what's the outcome because there's a range, but you have to be there to roll the dice.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where quantum physics enter in the big picture. Because do you know that let's go back to the video game example. We have an open world environment where everything is running, but the entire environment is not running simultaneously. The player is just looking at a fraction of what's going on.
Yes,
When the when you're playing a video game, your camera is looking at a direction, but everything that's not in the sight range is kinda
it's
not
not
rendered.
being yeah, it's not being rendered.
And that I guess that's where the quantum physics enters the picture because maybe if if we are simulated, we are being simulated
In chunks. We are simulated
in
in
a
chunks, like
no,
blocks.
if we are being simulated, then the machine or the hardware that is simulating us is so fucking powerful that everything that we know of, at least the observable on your universe, it is so powerful that it renders everything all at once. And there's no need to hide stuff.
Yes, but that's the
For
point.
example,
The observable. Who observes the universe?
oh, that's a point. I
See,
didn't
that's the
think of that.
catch.
Yeah.
And you see, that's where I'm coming from. So there is the world, and there is also us, and we are things made out of the world. We are stuff made, composed of world parts, and our actions do follow a certain rule, I guess you could say. And fuck, I forgot where I was going with this. But the word in Portuguese is biopsicossocial. This is a word that's like joining three words in one. This means biological, psychological, and social. So your actions they are ruled by this one rule. So you actually do not have like free will. You are controlled by this your history, this world, and your place's history. You can't really take actions that are way beyond the scope of this range. You are like locked to this range, and as such I realizing this, when I first realized this, I understood that yes, maybe this is the only reason we can understand stuff. This is the only reason we can see how the world works, and by extension, we can see how each other works, and we can, in some sort, predict each other's actions and thoughts. But that's a very sad thing to say because, as much as I want to say that this is pretty much how the world is, this also means that this is pretty much what I can be, and I cannot run from this.
No, you can't run. There's two things that I want to add. This entire biopsychosocial thing is that it is related to what I was saying before, that in today's technology we have video games where the NPCs are only programmed to do a certain task. They are not really a person. But if we had a more powerful AI, then it could make NPCs that were actually persons, that they actually feel, they actually see, they actually listen, they actually interact with each other because they are programmed to do that. They and with programming, I mean in the literal sense, you can program what hearing is. You can program what seeing is. You could give literal meaning to those words. I'm not just getting words out of my ass. I'm meaning that you could define what hearing is, you could define what singing is, you could define what feeling is
And they
in the
can feel
algorithm.
in their own way, and it's not the same as our way.
Yeah, on their own way, own way,
Sorry.
and that's it because we don't know if we are created in the same way, and if we are, then that's the second thing that I wanted to say because real life and the real reality uh, in, it feels real to us because we are inserted in the environment. We are inserted in the reality as a whole. We are part of the system in a way. So apart from philosophical theories like Descartes' theory, like there's two, like the duality, like you were saying.
Yes.
Apart from that, we are part from the we are part of the system, physically speaking. And if that's true, even if we are simulated, then all of this seems real and feels real because we are part of it. But
Well, but can I
but
compliment you? Well, I think
uh,
there's one thing that's very crazy in the big picture sense. It's that we are at one point in history where we have become actual literal gods, where we can create like both like biological life in a sense, like we can uh, mess with the genes and like how species procreate, but we can also mess with the mind, The only way we are going to be sure for certain that we can like actually make I don't know, robots or whatever, or even like animals that can feel and think like us. The only way
yeah,
we are going to find out is like making them. It's some very Lord of the Rings shit, We are trying to make some new life out of magic.
you know what? I don't know that's impossible. I really don't because let's take the very simplistic form of life, the unicellular uh, life forms.
Yeah,
You can understand how they work, and you can you can see what they are made of, and knowing what they are made of, you know how do they work in a chemically way and in a physically way, and from that on you can predict the behavior. You can predict the behavior of
good word, great word.
what do I mean? You can predict the behavior of everything that thing do.
Yes, yes.
And
The behavior is a way to convert like the theory into a physical action in the empirical world.
yeah, and if you expand this thinking from a unicellular being to a multicellular being, then you can see how an animal works, how an animal what's the behavior of an animal, and we are animals. Not just a bird or a dog or a cat or a whale or whatever. You can take this example to us, and you can create artificially. You can artificially create
Your
animals.
bro, your
Be
audio it's dropping again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can artificially create animals and life forms, plants as well, everything that's alive, because life is just, dude,
Yeah, I know
life
what
is
you're saying.
just,
I guess what sums it up is that the biggest proof that we do can make at least something that feels is that we are here right now. We are the proof. It has been done already, accidentally,
yeah, yeah, accidentally, and now we can recreate this accident
and
artificially.
improve on it.
Yeah, not only recreate, we can improve it. And by that, if it continues at this rate, we can truly become gods in
Yeah,
our reality.
I'm
In
for
our
sure. I
reality,
am sure that we are gods already.
we are teenage gods.
Yeah, I'm not saying me specifically, but humanity as a whole is pretty much godlike compared to every single animal. We are pretty
Yeah,
much
I know.
way, 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 way beyond what they can do.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Not you, not me, but humankind as a whole. We are gods in a sense, but we are like in the teenage stage
Oh, yes.
uh, of that.
We
Well,
just left childhood godlike, you know? When we first
yeah.
realized that we were gods, now it's time to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't, like, just fuck shit up and drink every single day and not care about the environment. Maybe we should clean our house, you know?
Fuck the shit. We can think about it later. And
Yeah,
now the later is here.
that's like future me problem. Then future me happens, and I'm like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? Oh wait, I'm present me. That's future me problem.
Well, now the future problem has came to a thing, and we must figure shit out very quickly because if we don't do, shit's going down. But dude, this is. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, life forms are just natural. I mean, natural robots. If we
Yes,
can create artificial robots,
that
we
is
can
very
create.
true, bro. I think that's a human point of view. Like looking at an insect and saying, nah, it doesn't feel shit. I'm going to squash it.
Yeah, and if you can look at an ant or whatever insect and think that, why can't you think the same thing about a bigger animal or a plant? Like it's still a life form. Like you can look at your cat and think that, hey, I could create something like that. If I understand the genes and its DNA, if I can sequence the DNA and understand how this life form works, I can recreate something like that because that's already happening. They are already recreating, no, not recreating. They are already creating artificial flesh
Yeah.
in lab.
Actually, I also have another point to make on this because we can also emulate cats. That's what I was wanting to talk about video games because how emulation works is that it's running the idea, the software, pretty much everything in another machine that's completely different, you know. But we can pretty much emulate a cat in like a metal body, you know. The behavior of the cat-like actions, pretty much even the fur, we can make synthetic fur and everything else, and it's just running a cat. However, it's not the same hardware.
Yeah, it's not the same hardware, but it was. It is like if it was the same hardware.
Yes, but that's an illusion. We are every single time we talk about this, we are trying to make an illusion in the human hardware of the sense. That's who we are trying to trick. That's the observer.
But even though we always end up getting into the same thing, we can actually run from that, I guess.
Yeah, that is true. Hey man, I just have to say, we are at the 55-minute mark. Woohoo!
Yeah, we made two podcasts all at
Yeah,
once.
I was thinking just that, we pretty much made 2 episodes.
Well, we can just tie it up and post it as one. I don't see a problem. What do you think?
Maybe we can yeah, let's do this. Let's just join them, make a 2-hour episode, and just see what happens. The people
Yeah.
will decide.
Well, I can say that today's episode was kinda productive.
Yeah, I'm very glad with this. Like 2.5 was, okay, but this one kept maintain the feeling of the second one.
Yeah, maintaining the feeling, and I'm actually very glad as well because we discussed lots of things, and I can say that what do I say? What's the word?
We are building up
Um,
stuff. We are getting somewhere.
yeah, we are getting somewhere in the not about the project itself, but thinking about stuff.
Yeah, the backbone is being lit, I guess. We are
Yeah.
building it.
And but I can say that we ended this episode right in time because I saw now that I have 1% battery.
Oh, okay.
I know it's 2%, but it was very close.
What do you want to say? Your last words.
My last word is get ready because we are reaching godlike levels of shit show. If
Yeah, the
that's
next
if
10
that means
years.
anything, if that means anything, I can say that shit's going down very fast, and at the same time, shit's going up at the same time. Stunts
That's
only go
true.
up.
That's true. So yes, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, all those stuff. You guys always know what to do. I'm going to say this very fast because Macedo is about to die, and if you want to keep the conversation going, you can always comment on YouTube and come to the Twitch chat. But go to Discord. It's down the description. If
Yeah,
you want to really comment, make a long ass text, we really want to read that. Okay, that's the place. Discord chat on the description.
yeah, we will read everything really.
Yes, and also next week we are going to be on the Green app and other places that are only podcasts. So keep an eye out for that.
Keep an eye out, and we are going to come back for another episode on Monday. We will have 2 episodes per week now.
Yeah,
So keep
yeah.
an eye out, and that's it, I guess.
Okay, so bye bye, guys.
See you around. Peace.